Welcome to the He's Got Issues Independent Comics Edition number 133.3. I'm John Cooney here to preview new independent comics being released August 6, 2014, beginning alphabetically with Boom Studios and Big Trouble in Little China number 3. Charging down the Black Road of Hell in the Pork Chop Express, Egg Pete and Old Jack Burton are facing off against the mythical past of China. Demon thugs and the bulbous seven-faced widow may stand in their way, but you know what Old Jack Burton says at a time like this. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir. The check's in the mail. Next, we have Clockwork Angels number 4 of 6. Owen Hardy wanted to see the world. Now the world is after him. Framed as a terrorist, the anarchist, he finds himself on the run for his life. The choices he makes takes him to strange and terrifying heights in the next chapter of this steampunk epic from Rush visionary Neil Peart and New York Times bestselling author Kevin J. Anderson. We've also got Garfield number 28. The fat cat keeps on bringing the laughs through the summer. This month, a trip to the park for a barbecue leads the gang to meet a genie, and Garfield also gets caught up in a hilarious case of mistaken identity. Next, we have Robocop number 2. OCP's massive overhaul on gun control has left the city of Old Detroit in the midst of an uprising. With Robocop and Officer Lewis in the middle of a law they cannot support but must uphold, there is no end solution in sight that doesn't paint the streets in the blood of the innocent. We've also got Steven Universe number 1. Steven really wants to enter the annual Beach City bike race, but everyone else is a little worried. Steven just makes the cutoff for age, which means the other bikers will be a lot older than him. Connie agrees to help Steven the old-fashioned way through a good old exercise, but Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl have other plans. Next, we have Suicide Risk number 16. Having embraced her birthright, Tracy Winters taps into her power to set the world right by whatever means necessary. And if she's anything like her father, now the vengeful Requiem, those means can be very bloody. And we've got Woods number 4. In the woods, Karen, Adrian, and Calder explore the mysterious ruins of a past civilization as Tsunami, Ben, and Isaac face off against a threat much scarier than the local fauna. At the school, Maria Stokes' revolution in the face of Coach Clay's fascist disciplinary committee. From Dark Horse Comics, we've got Angel and Faith Season 10, number 5. Angel is plagued by nightmares and another menace for the streets of London. The new vampires, like the zompires before them, are leaving a trail of victims for the local police and Angel to pursue. Next, we have Michael Avon Oeming's The Victories, number 14. Faustus sits at the place of ascension, but is he ready to meet the visitors? Will he go back to the dark path that could lead to his ruin and that of humanity? And we've got Usagi Yojimbo Senso number 1 of 6. 20 years in his future, Miyamoto Usagi fights as a general for Lord Noriyuki against the treacherous Lord Hokage. In the fury of the final battle, a metal rocket crashes to Earth, and inside is an enemy that neither side could have ever imagined. Witness the final fates of your favorite Usagi characters in this all-new samurai epic with a startling science fiction twist. From Dynamite Entertainment, we've got Blood Queen number 3. Rumors of war circulate in the kingdom. As the land slide toward conflict, we learn more about the dangerous plans of the Elder. Who was the Knight of Purity, and what does his wrath have to do with Elizabeth's mission? And in a castle full of secrets, does innocent Helena hold the key to the most useful one of all? Next, we have Captain Victory and the Galactic Rangers number 1. Joe Casey is one of the industry's most popular writers, having written for Marvel and DC, from the Uncanny X-Men to Superman and many more of the best-selling titles, and most recently created and writes the acclaimed Sex series for Image Comics. Now he's tackling one of Jack Kirby's greatest creations, Captain Victory, and this story will blow your mind. Out of the hell of a cosmic firefight, Captain Victory is launched into an epic adventure that spans both space and time. All your favorites are here, as well as all new enemies to face. Your new favorite cosmic comic book has finally arrived. We've also got Chaos number 4 of 6. The vampire assassin Chastity has a new target, homicidal super zombie Evil Ernie. It's a brutal take-no-prisoners brawl between Chaos' favorite undead death dealers. Tim Seeley of Batman Eternal / Revival fame reestablishes the Chaos universe for fans old and new. Next, we have Chastity number 2. After last issue's bloody ending, Chastity struggles to live. But even if she survives, will she be human, vampire, or something else entirely? And the brazen and horrific actions of the malevolent Alice Stonecliffe bring her some most unwanted attention. Who are the Council? The all-new origin of the classic Chaos character continues here. We've also got Flash Gordon number 4. Jeff Parker, Evan Shaner, and Jordi Belair bring the thrilling first Flash arc to a stunning conclusion. Can Flash Gordon harness the awesome anti-gravity ore in Prince Baron's Arborea and lead the masses against Ming the Merciless? Next, we have George R.R. Martin's A Game of Thrones number 21. To the victor belong the spoils, thus has it always been for the savage nomads of the Dothraki, but when Daenerys finds the spoils include helpless women, she intercedes, triggering angry dissension between Khal Drogo and his men. Drogo's word is law, yet the strange ways of his Targaryen bride undercut his authority. Now wounded, Drogo is weaker still, yet help comes from an unexpected quarter. Among the rescued women, a healer steps forward, eager to repay her debt. We've also got Jennifer Blood, Born Again, number 1 of 5. The streets of La La Land run red when Jennifer Blood returns to declare a new war on the mobs. Or does she? As a low-level hood plots to leverage her in a bid to take over the Los Angeles underworld, her war attracts some very dangerous attention and unexpectedly sets a lethal international chain of events in motion. A deadly new direction from writer Stephen Grant, the well-known writer of classic Punisher stories, as well as the creator and writer of Boom's Two Guns. Next we have Jim Butcher, The Dresden Files War Cry, number 3 of 5. What do you do when you're outnumbered by scores of vampires and your only allies are 3 inexperienced wizards and some frightened scholars? If you're Harry Dresden, you attack. But even as Harry risks everything in an attempt to shatter the Red Court's defenses, a mystery threat prowls the nearby woods, ready to overturn the chessboard. Meanwhile, the supernatural WMD hidden in the Venturus underground chamber waits to be freed. We've also got new Vampirella, number 3. Best-selling author Nancy Collins continues her epic run on Vampirella. After escaping the Witch's Hammer, the Vatican's elite monster-killing squad, led by Father Nicodemus, Vampirella's newfound ally, the Nosferatu known as Drago, reveals the only way to lift the curse placed on her by Ethan Shroud, that is slowly making her a living vessel for Umbra, Our Lady of Shadows and Bride of the Apocalypse, is for her to drink the blood of certain rare species of vampire. The first stop on their Monster World Tour is Thailand, where Vampirella must hunt down and kill a horrific creature known as Krasu, which appears only at night as the head of a beautiful woman, attached to nothing but a heart, a pair of lungs, and a mass of entrails. Next we have Shadow Midnight in Moscow, number 3 of 6. The game's afoot, Sherlock Holmes famously said, and a half-century after the legendary sleuth pursued criminal in the foggy streets of London, the Shadow finds himself in the footsteps of Holmes, drawn into the hunt for a conspiracy that will, if it succeeds, bring the free world to its knees. We've also got Terminal Hero number 1, with Shade the Changing Man, Ecstatic's dupe, and of course Hellblazer under his belt. Peter Milligan is now taking on Terminal Hero. Rory Fletcher is a good man. The problem is he's dying of an inoperable brain tumor, and then his best friend introduces him to the mysterious treatment Q. This strange and forbidden therapy might just save Rory's life, but its nightmare side effects could make him question just how good he really is, and just how much he really does want to live. And we've got Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Echoes number 2 of 4. Hot off the best-selling Punisher and Black Widow comics from Marvel, Nathan Edmondson brings you another issue of the thrilling series, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Echoes. The trail of terror leads to a cruise liner off the coast of Barcelona, but nothing makes sense to Sam and Paladin, who must take another step into the darkness around the mysterious and deadly group. But first Sam will have to seek the help of a powerful friend, one of the only friends he still has. What started as a simple favor is quickly turning into a global battle for the operative who thought he was out of the game. From IDW Publishing, we've got Angry Birds Comics number 3, a stick, a rubber band, some birds, a few pigs. What else do a pair of Eisner-nominated writers need to make comics fun again? You! Join us as we catapult into the 3rd issue of Angry Birds Comics, featuring brand new fun-filled stories for kids of every age. Next we have G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero number 205. Torpedo and his team race against the clock in the mountains of Olistan with Dr. Adele Burkhart in tow. Will they make it out in one piece, or will the pursuing insurgents take down our real American heroes? We've also got Haunted Horror number 12. Pre-code comic fans have been screaming about Haunted Horror. Join these guys and ghouls in ordering their terrifying fun-filled color comic reprinting the choicest banned comics from the 50s. And join the cult-like fiendish friendly horde on the Horror Comics 1950s and Beyond page on Facebook. Next we have Mars Attacks Firstborn number 3 of 4. It's the Martian's warlike nature versus the human tendency to nurture as Firstborn hits the penultimate point. Will the first Martian born on Earth succumb to its biologically barbaric imperative? Things take a turn for the bizarre as Rael and Keith build to an explosive conclusion to their latest partnership. We've also got Popeye Classics number 25. We all know Popeye gets his strength from his beloved spinach, but what is this crazy shrinkweed the one-eyed sailor ingests in the lead story? Plus another fun-filled Bud Sangendorf Sherm story, and more. Next we have Rogue Trooper Classics number 4 of 12. Clone War, New Earth, a planet ravaged by war, its atmosphere poisoned by chemical weapons. In this battle-scarred landscape, the Nords and Southers fight where only the genetic infantryman can survive unaided. Rogue is one such soldier, and these are his tales, all in color for the very first time. We've also got Squidder number 2. The Squidder steals back a slave for a local strongman, only to realize success with the job means upsetting the fragile balance of human power. With the aid of the very squid cult he hates, he realizes there's a new game afoot and an old war still worth fighting, while more powerful eyes finally start to take notice. Next we have Star Mage number 5 of 6, The Ghost of the Past. Erasmus' terrible new weapon forces Arylos to make a tremendous sacrifice. Darien learns of the horrors in the Cerro Kishpu's past and Erasmus' wicked plan to destroy the Empire. And we've got Star Trek New Visions Volume 2 times Echo. John Byrne continues his new Star Trek photo novel adventures. In Core, from the raging heart of the galaxy comes a message that summons the crew of the Starship Enterprise on their most bizarre and dangerous mission, a message sent by their own captain 10 centuries earlier. From Image Comics, we've got Alex plus Ada number 8. As restrictions tighten on androids, Ada feels unsure about her place in Alex's life and the world. Next we have Clone number 19, To Kill or Not to Kill. A deep divide pits the clones against one another, just as an old enemy returns. We've also got Cyberforce number 10, Cyberforce Reunited. All Stryker ever wanted was to live the remainder of his life in obscurity and enjoy the relative peace and quiet, but first he'll need to lead an army into the maw of cyber data and its thousands of shocks. Next we have Genius number 1 of 5. Genius issues number 1 through 5 weekly throughout August. The winner of Top Cow's pilot season makes its triumphant return to print. What if the greatest military mind of our generation was born to a people who are already supremely conditioned to wage war, who know nothing but violence since birth and must continually adapt to new predators in order to survive? What if the second coming of Alexander the Great, of Genghis Khan, of Napoleon, of Patton? What if it was a teenage girl from South Central LA named Destiny? And what if she decides to secede 3 blocks of the hood from the Union? Who's going to take it back from her and her army of gangbangers? Who can? From writers Mark Bernardin and Adam Freeman and rising star artist Afua Richardson comes a harrowing, action-packed tale of a city that declares war on a brilliant young woman pushed to the edge. We've also got Hackslash Son of Samhain number 2. After escaping Marinto's cave, Cassie and Delroy take to the desert to track the mysterious boy the monsters were holding captive. Their search leads them to the Scalpers, a gnarly group that doesn't take kindly to visitors. Meanwhile, Marinto confronts the mythical god beast. Next, we have Howtoons Reignition number 1, the awe-inspiring, adventure-loving, science-doing series co-created by East of West Nick Dragotta returns with an all-new story from superstar creators Fred Van Lent, Tom Fowler, and Jordi Belair. Tuck and Celine's parents put their family in suspended animation to ride out the ecological apocalypse, but when the kids wake up to find mom and dad are gone, they have to make their way across the brave and terrifying new world to find the rents, using only the Howtoons projects to survive. We've also got Imperial number 1 of 4. Mark is 2 weeks out from making the biggest decision in his life, but which big decision will it be? Taking the ring of the woman of his dreams and becoming a married man, or taking the crown of the world's only superhero and becoming the next Imperial? Stephen T. Siegel teams with Mark Dos Santos for a buddy book with commitment issues. Next we have Invincible number 113. The Massacre Continues. We've also got Lazarus number 10, Extraction, a standalone in the critically acclaimed and New York Times bestselling series. This issue sets the stage for the third arc of Lazarus, Conclave. In the wake of his failed attempt to seize control of his family, Jonah Carlyle ran for his life and straight into the arms of the enemy. But in the embrace of the Bittner and Hawk families, there is no shelter, aid, or comfort to be found. Next we have Madame Frankenstein number 4 of 7, carnival sideshows, burlesque dancers, speakeasies. It's time for our monster's first trip into a public space, and Vincent has chosen a locale where Gail can hide among the other freaks and denizens of the underworld. Just be careful what happens when another woman gets between the doctor and his creation. We've also got Nailbiter number 4, What is the Serial Killer Graveyard, and are there more than just bodies buried there? Finch and Sheriff Crane must literally dig to find the answers. Next we have Nightworld number 1 of 4. Sad demon Plenilunio rules a haunted castle with his sleepwalking lover Lydia, and unwisely bargains with the evil Empire to wake her. He's in a race for the mystic soul key with Teen from Hades' hotspot and the ruthless Helena, agents of the Empire with secret agendas. A 4-part thrill ride to hell starts here with humor, horror, tragic romance, and blockbuster monster fights from the cult hit team of Adam McGovern and Paolo Leandri. We've also got Spread number 2. Raiders, Slavers, a gigantic spreadworm, a hungry baby, no has problems. Next, we have Tales of Honor number 4. The Honorverse expands to comics. Based on the best-selling military science fiction novels by David Weber, this original comic book series continues the story of Honor Harrington as she investigates the threat to Basilisk Station by the Republic of Haven. This series is part of a new multi-platform story world that includes a mobile game app to be released with the first issue and a feature film currently in development. And we've got Tech Jacket number 2. Tech Jacket's newest adventure brings him in touch with the Colossal, but is this massive ship the vanguard of an alien invasion or something more sinister? Your mind, prepare to be blown. From Valiant Entertainment, we've got Harbinger Omega's number 1 of 3. It matters not how a man dies, but how he lives. The team has been shattered and a teenage renegade lies dead, a victim of the Harbinger Foundation led by Omega-powered psionic Toyo Harada. This is the story of what happens next. Out of the ashes of Harbinger 25, find out what happens when the full extent of Harada's secret empire is exposed to the public, and just how the surviving members of the Renegades recover from a catastrophic loss that has changed their lives, their team, and their destinies forever. Out in trades, we've got Invincible Ultimate Collection Volume 9 hardcover. Invincible's battle with dinosaurs kicks off the start of a very tumultuous time in Mark Grayson's life. Collects Invincible number 97 to 108. And we've got Exo Manowar Volume 6 Prelude to Armor Hunters trade paperback. The road to Armor Hunters starts here. Eric of Dacia, a 5th century warrior bonded to alien armor and transplanted to the modern day, is now the most important weapon in the arsenal of Marrow, the top secret American intelligence organization that monitors extraterrestrial life on Earth. In order to protect his people, Eric must undergo dangerous missions in space, but nothing can prepare him for the stunning secret that awaits him in the stars. Collecting Exo Manowar number 23 and 24 and the oversized Exo Manowar number 25 Anniversary Spectacular, the march toward Armor Hunters begins here as New York Times bestselling writer Robert Venditti and Red Heart artist Diego Bernard join an all-star cast of comic book superstars, including Sean Chen, Tom Fowler, Brian Hitch, J.G. Jones, Barry Kitson, Carrie Nord, and many more, to deliver an essential introduction to the biggest Valiant event ever attempted. Okay, so that's a look at some of the top independent publishers this week, but there's still plenty of other books out as well, so be sure to check out my YouTube channel at he'sgotissues.com to see both the Marvel and DC videos for this week, as well as my usual roundup of all my favorites for the week, with a little more depth and insight than you get here. And if you like these videos, be sure to let me know by leaving a comment and subscribing. You can also follow He's Got Issues on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr to see everything I'm reading as I read it. So until next week, I'm John Cooney, and I've got issues.